Once there was a young student named Taseer, known for his cheerful nature and kind heart. Everyone adored him, but despite these wonderful qualities, Taseer had one significant flaw. He was terribly weak in managing his time. Taseer often found himself caught in a cycle of procrastination. He would spend hours engrossed in video games, chatting with friends, or simply daydreaming. Meanwhile, his schoolwork and chores would pile up, creating a mountain of unfinished tasks. Despite his good intentions, Taseer always seemed to run out of time. This led to rushed assignments, incomplete projects, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. His teachers were greatly concerned about his academic performance, and his parents were perpetually worried about his habits. Yet, Taseer wasn't ready to change his ways. He struggled to see the importance of managing his time effectively, often believing he could catch up later. This mindset only deepened his predicament, leaving him stressed and behind. One day, his grandfather, a wise and observant old man, noticed Taseer's ongoing struggle. He decided it was time to impart a valuable lesson, one that Taseer would remember for a lifetime. He specially invited Taseer to his house, knowing a change of scenery might help. Taseer was warmly greeted by his grandfather, who led him to the kitchen table. On the table, Taseer saw an empty glass jar and a basket filled with various items. There were big rocks, smaller pebbles, and a pile of fine sand. Taseer looked intrigued, wondering what this unusual setup meant. "Taseer, I want you to fill this jar with everything in the basket," his grandfather instructed, with a gentle smile. Taseer eagerly began, thinking it was a simple task. He started by pouring the sand into the jar, followed by the pebbles. However, when he tried to fit the big rocks in, they simply didn't fit. The jar was already full of sand and pebbles, leaving no room for the larger items. Taseer frowned, puzzled by the outcome, and looked at his grandfather for guidance. "Let me show you something," his grandfather replied, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. He carefully emptied the jar, setting everything aside. Then, he began the process again, but this time, he started differently. Methodically, he placed the large rocks inside the jar first, arranging them carefully at the bottom. Next, he added the pebbles, which easily fit into the spaces between the big rocks. They settled comfortably around the larger stones. Finally, he poured the sand into the jar. The fine grains of sand filtered down, filling all the remaining gaps left by the pebbles and rocks. To Taseer's amazement, everything from the basket fitted perfectly into the jar. Not a single item was left out. "Taseer, this jar represents you and your time," his grandfather elucidated, his voice calm and clear. "The big rocks are the significant things in your life, like your schoolwork, your family, and your health. These are your absolute priorities. The pebbles are other important priorities," he continued, "like your hobbies, your friendships, and your extracurricular activities. They are valuable, but come after the big rocks. The sand represents the small, trivial things, the distractions that often consume our time. If you fill your time with the small stuff first, like the sand, you'll never have room for the truly important things, the big rocks," his grandfather explained. "But if you prioritize the big rocks first, everything else will find its proper place around them." His grandfather then told Taseer to truly understand the value of time and how to manage it. He advised him to always prioritize his tasks and focus on what was truly important in his life. He helped Taseer create a schedule, a practical tool for his new approach. They set aside dedicated time for his schoolwork, his chores and family activities, ensuring these big rocks were placed first. Only after these essential tasks were accounted for did his grandfather allocate time for Taseer's hobbies and relaxation. This structure ensured that the most important things were always completed. At first, it was challenging for Taseer to change his ingrained habits. He often found himself tempted to put off important tasks and indulge in immediate gratification. It required discipline and conscious effort to stick to his new schedule. However, with consistent practice and determination, Taseer started to see remarkable improvements. He felt more in control of his time and significantly less stressed about looming deadlines. His grades began to improve steadily, and he found he had more quality time to spend with his family and friends. One day, Taseer's teacher noticed his newfound efficiency and asked him to share his secret to managing his time so well. Taseer proudly told the story of the jar, the rocks, the pebbles, and the sand. His classmates listened intently, captivated by the simple yet profound lesson. Many of them decided to try the same approach themselves, inspired by Taseer's transformation. Taseer's newfound time management skills also had a profoundly positive impact on his relationships. His parents were incredibly proud of his progress and the maturity he displayed. His friends appreciated that he was more reliable and present, no longer constantly rushing or canceling plans. Taseer learned that by prioritizing the important things in life, he was not only achieving more academically and personally, but also living a more balanced and fulfilling life. He discovered that true productivity wasn't about doing more, but about doing what mattered most. From that day on, Taseer remembered his grandfather's wise words and the powerful lesson of the jar. He became a master of time management, and this fundamental lesson continued to guide him through the rest of his life. He grew up to be a successful and happy individual, always making time for what truly mattered. So, Taseer's story became a cherished tale, a timeless reminder for everyone. It highlights the immense importance of managing time wisely and prioritizing the things that truly matter, ensuring a life well lived and full of purpose.